Today I'm talking about a crazy situation where what we sell and what customers buy are two totally different things. I had to spend thousands of dollars and travel to the US to learn this. It cost me years of turnover, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Once I understood this, selling became so much easier, and we're going to dig into it today. Let's start with a question. What is it that you sell? If you own an automotive shop, you're fixing cars, what is it that you sell? I had to answer this question when I did Business Mastery with Tony Robbins. I've got a photo somewhere with him. Legend of a guy, very, very smart businessman. He had like some real thought leaders. They all get together. You spend thousands of dollars. You sit there for 5-6 days and you learn all about business. And the biggest takeaway I got, the one that was worth the money, was when he said, "What is it that you sell? What is it that your business sells?" And I was like, "Oh, okay. Oil, filter, brake pads." He goes, "What is it that you really sell?" I was like, "Oh, good question." Then I was like, oh, I know, like thinking I was half smart. "Oh, mechanics hours. We sell hours. We sell time." And he goes, "And let me ask you one more time. What is it that you sell?" He said, "Because if you can articulate this clearly, it will really change how well your business grows, or how fast your business grows, or how successful you'll be." And I was like, "Well, we sell like repairs." Oh, so I was like, "Oh, hang on, no. We sell parts and we sell labor, and that's what we sell. That's our product." And then he said, "Because you got a little workbook, you're writing it all down." And I was like, "Yeah, I think I've got it figured out." And then he said, "Is it what your customers buy? Because if what you sell and what your customers buy is different, you'll never be successful." And by this stage, I'm like, "Well, of course that's what they buy," thinking I'd figured it out. And then he said, "No." And then he started to give examples. And in our world, in the automotive world, I went, "Oh, this makes sense." Like, customers don't buy brake pads. They buy a safe braking system on their vehicle. They're buying the freedom to use their vehicle, to know that it's reliable and it's safe. And as soon as I sort of got that in my head, I realized that I was probably way out of depth at this conference. I shouldn't have been there. I was not smart enough. They needed to have like a special education section, because I was like, oh, I didn't even understand any of that. Spent the money and now I do, which was a good thing. What we sell and what the customers buy are two totally different things. You need to change the way you think about selling. In your business, you're not selling brake pads, you're selling safe braking systems. That also comes down to how you quote a customer. You don't quote for the cheapest repair possible, you quote for the best, most reliable, safest way to repair their vehicle. Another great way of explaining it was many years ago when in Australia, I'm not sure if it happened in the US as well, we went from R12 to 134 gas in the AC systems. You could no longer buy R12 gas because it was CFC and you had to get HFC or one of the other, I can't really remember. And we would have to retrofit systems. So we're changing out a few components in the AC. You could fix one item in the AC. Say you replaced the compressor, and then 2 weeks later, the condenser started leaking because you've got the correct pressures in there with a different gas. The condenser starts leaking. The customer doesn't understand, "Oh, yes, I paid for a compressor in the AC system." They paid for cold air coming out of the vents. They paid for the reliability. So when you explain to a customer, "Oh, yes, we fixed this, but now this is broken," they don't care. All they know in their head is, "I took my car in, you fixed my air conditioning," like encompassing every item of the air conditioning. We give the car back to them. And we had that so many times. When we changed the gases over, there was different seals started leaking, and it was a never-ending shit fight, to be honest. So we ended up saying, like, in an AC retrofit, we will do this, this, and this. This is not covered. And we made people sign something to say, like, "We are changing your system over for you. But unless you want to spend $2,000 and replace everything, you may run into an issue." Customers buy air conditioning. They don't buy air conditioning compressors. If you can understand that when you're quoting a job, let's take the aircon out of it now and let's talk about brakes. Okay, so you sell a set of brake pads and a disc machine. When you sell front brake pads, the customer's saying, "Are my brakes okay?" Now, if the rear brakes have only got 2 or 3,000 Ks on them, the customer doesn't know you did front and rear brakes. They just see it as brakes. "I had a brake problem, my brakes are squealing." They worked for a week or two, then the rear started squealing. In their mind, they're like, "You didn't fix my brakes." You've got to encompass everything. You've got to think about it from a customer's point of view. They're not buying a specific item on the vehicle. They're buying the reliability of that vehicle. And I know it's kind of hard because you can go down that rabbit hole of saying, well, if I replace one thing, then this is half warm, we should replace this, etc., etc. But that's as you as a qualified mechanic, as someone that's been in the trade long enough to understand, okay, what do we need to replace to make sure that this problem is gone and gone for good? Not let's just replace this item because as mechanics we say, okay, well that item needs to be replaced. Yes, but are there other parts of the system which may fail in the near future that the customer won't see the difference? It's like if you fixed, this is a bad, oh no, this is a good analogy. Say a car had it wouldn't start, the car won't start. You replace the starter motor, the car now starts and runs. 2 weeks later, the injection system shits itself. You fix the injection system, like this would be pretty unlucky, but then a week later, the ignition system dies. The customer doesn't go, oh, yeah, well, I understand it was a starter motor. Oh, I understand it was the injectors. Oh, I understand it was the ignition. They just go, my car doesn't work. They see it as a whole, not as just like individual components. When you think about the fact that the customer always wants their vehicle back in the most safe and reliable way that they can get the vehicle, that will change how you deal with quoting. That'll change how you deal with selling. It also let me learn the difference between serving and selling. We serve customers by selling them items, by selling them the repairs. The customers want, at the end of the day, this is like the big secret that I had to spend thousands of dollars to learn. They want, what we sell is a reliable, safe vehicle, an economical, reliable, safe vehicle. If anything, while you're repairing the vehicle, is going to stop that, you need to tell the customer about it. You might get a few customers that go, oh, hang on, you're just trying to upsell me extra stuff for no reason. They're out there, those customers. Don't stress about them. You might get a few. But if you explain it in a way where they understand, say, look, we want to make sure that you can have this vehicle to use whenever you need it. So it's going to be reliable. It can get you to school. It can get you to church. It can get you to work, whatever. That's what you need to focus on. Think about that when you're quoting. Think about that when you're reporting on vehicles. Think about that in every step of your business, and 100% will change the way you sell. You will find selling becomes so much easier. You'll find your customers end up so much happier because you understand what they're buying. Again, I don't like to waffle on too much. I want to get in, make the point so you guys can get back to work. You've got cars to fix. I've got workshops to transform. I hope this has changed the way you see your business. If you've got any questions, leave a comment. I'll definitely get back to you. And if you could do me one huge favor and give me a thumb because you've got two and I've got one, that'd be great. Until next time, this is Zoto Boss out.